Tyson Fury has been forced to make an unprecedented move, and we can see him on the way to further excelling as a heavyweight champion. We're excited to tell you everything you need to know about Tyson's big moves. Now, let's dive right into all the details that we know so far about Fury's move, as well as other boxing news that's been making the rounds. First, Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. WBC makes ruling, heavyweight division. World heavyweight champion Tyson Fury must face Dillian Whyte in his next title defense, following a ruling on Tuesday by the World Boxing Council. The WBC said Whyte has now been installed as mandatory challenger to Fury, who retained his crown with a thrilling knockout victory over Deontay Wilder in Las Vegas in October. The WBC initially said in October, Fury would only have to face Whyte if he was unable to arrange an undisputed world title fight with Ukraine's Alexander Usyk, the unified WBA, IBF, and WBO heavyweight champion. However, after the 30-day window for Fury and Usyk to agree to terms expired, the WBC have now moved to install Whyte as Fury's next opponent. Whyte last month accused Fury of running away from a planned showdown. Fury has been mandated to fight me twice. He just keeps making excuses, Whyte told Sky Sports. Next, Tyson Fury admits his choice of next opponent doesn't make much sense. Tyson Fury has admitted he is confused by the situation regarding his next opponent, despite Dillian Whyte being in pole position to face him. The Gypsy King is pondering his next move, with mandatory challenger Whyte currently expected to be ordered to face Fury after an arbitration with the WBC is resolved, and Fury is in demand after recording another historic victory over Deontay Wilder in October to retain his status as lineal heavyweight champion. The fighter has now admitted the situation regarding his next opponent doesn't make sense and will be decided based on who is available to fight early next year. Fury and Whyte have feuded during their respective rises in the heavyweight division, with Whyte becoming WBC silver champion in 2017 with a victory over Robert Helenius, and he has been waiting for his world title shot ever since, despite a brief period of worry after he was forced to avenge a defeat to Alexander Povetkin with an explosive rematch stoppage. Tyson was expected to face Anthony Joshua earlier this year in an undisputed tilt, but may now be forced to fight once more before pursuing all of the marbles against the winner of Joshua's rematch with Alexander Usyk next year. This has set precedent for Fury to remain active after missing out on Iron Square action for over the year, with issues including coronavirus between 2020 and October this year. The lineal champion is confident of beating Whyte and believes any mandatory defense he can organize for his return will be an easy walkover. Fury previously hinted at hanging up his gloves, having largely completed most of his planned accomplishments in the boxing ring after retaining his title. Despite pressure from his wife Paris and his father to retire from the ring, he has confirmed his plans to return to the ring in February, and he has threatened to fire his promoters if his ring return cannot be agreed in time to take place on his targeted return date in February. Now, Jake Paul knocks out Tyron Woodley in the 6th round of rematch. Jake Paul lands a massive right hand which face-planted Tyron Woodley to the canvas on Saturday night. It was the best KO so far in the undefeated rise of the YouTuber turned boxer. The former YouTuber won their first fight via split decision earlier this year, but concluded this rivalry in the most emphatic possible way by blasting the former UFC champion to the floor. Paul was forced to overcome the adversity of a cut and blood seeping down his face, which was caused by an accidental elbow from Woodley in the 3rd round. Woodley had vowed to be more aggressive than in their first fight and had the incentive of a $500,000 bonus if he won by knockout, but the crisper punches were coming from Paul. Moments after Paul was bloodied, Woodley flung a series of shots to trouble his rival. Then suddenly in the 6th round, Paul launched a right hand which landed flush on Woodley's jaw and face-planted his opponent to the canvas. It was a sensational knockout, which the social media superstar celebrated by leaping into the ropes. Tommy Fury chimes in, saying Jake Paul would have been knocked out in the opening round if they had fought last weekend. The British contender was forced out of a scheduled fight against Paul after suffering from a severe chest infection and a broken rib, and the YouTube star instead knocked out Tyron Woodley in their rematch last weekend. Fury was far from impressed by Paul's 6th round stoppage and remained confident that he would quickly settle their feud in a rescheduled fight. The 22-year-old also revealed his bitter disappointment after being denied a high-profile showdown against Paul in front of a huge audience in America. Warren speaks out about rescheduling Fury versus Paul. Promoter Frank Warren has apparently confirmed to Sky Sports that he intends to rearrange the Fury versus Paul fight in early 2022. Paul instead knocked out Tyron Woodley in a rematch, but Tommy Fury's promoter Frank Warren intends to rearrange a big clash between the British contender and the social media sensation. Promoter Ben Shalom says Amir Khan and Kell Brook will face a 6-figure fine if they miss the 149-pound weight limit for their grudge fight. Amir Khan and Kell Brook will be fined a 6-figure fee for every pound above the agreed limit if they miss weight, confirmed promoter Ben Shalom. Khan and Brook will finally meet inside the ring on February 19th, live on Sky Sports box office, and the biggest all-British fight outside of the heavyweight division. They have agreed to collide at 149 pounds, which is 2 pounds above the welterweight limit, after arguing at a press conference over which division to meet in. Eddie Hearn fires back at critics of Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn says the reason why former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is so widely criticized by boxing fans is that in the UK, they don't like fighters or people that achieve success. So rather than fans being elated that Joshua has captured several world titles and found a great deal of success during his 8-year professional career, they tear him down. Interestingly, Hearn compares Joshua to former British heavyweight Frank Bruno, who he says the fans supported and loved. However, once the well-liked Bruno captured the WBO title in 1995, the fans turned on him, making him less popular. Hearn theorizes that the reason for that reaction to Bruno from fans is because he was never viewed as a guy who could never win a world title. Once Bruno captured the WBC title, the fans stopped circling their wagons around him as they'd done before. Hearn may have a warped view of why Joshua was admonished by the UK boxing fans and fanatics worldwide. Perhaps the valid reason the fans find fault with the big 6'6" Joshua is because of his failings and flaws in his game. When Joshua turned professional in 2013, after capturing a controversial gold medal in the 2012 London Olympics, Hearn built him up to be some unstoppable action hero and claimed that he would carry the heavyweight division on his back for 10 years as world champion. Now, Joshua's in the 8th year of his pro career, and he's already been beaten twice by guys that he was supposed to have an easy time with, against Andy Ruiz Jr. and Alexander Usyk. At the moment, Joshua is beltless, and there are severe doubts among fans that he will win the rematch with Usyk. Amanda Serrano looks to match Katie Taylor's win. Fairuza was the last person Taylor needed to get past before she could turn her potential shot at history. So, as her hand was raised by unanimous decision, Taylor already knew what was next. She had held up her end of the bargain, winning her December fight to set the stage for a potential mega fight with Amanda Serrano in 2022. On Saturday in Tampa, Florida, Serrano will try to fulfill her part by moving past her final pre-Taylor hurdle, a lightweight fight against Miriam Gutierrez. In the aftermath of Taylor's win, conversations about a future Serrano fight immediately got more serious. Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn suggested Madison Square Garden as a possible venue and called it the biggest fight of all time in women's boxing. One of Serrano's promoters, influencer-turned-boxer Jake Paul, told ESPN there have been discussions about a potential 7-figure purse for a fight against Taylor. Paul sees a potential fight against Taylor, ESPN's pound-for-pound #1 women's boxer and the 20-0 undisputed lightweight champion, as one that can raise the pay of female fighters, as well as increase the respect and attention the sport receives moving forward. Before the potential blockbuster fight can occur, though, Serrano needs to beat Gutierrez on the undercard of Paul's rematch against Tyrone Woodley. Serrano, ESPN's #3 pound-for-pound women's boxer, has been in fights like this for years. She has won titles in weight class after weight class, compiling a 41-1-1 record with 30 knockouts. And that's all for now, folks, but we'll be back with more interesting videos. To stay informed about the boxing industry, keep watching our videos. Tell us if you think Fury's ready to fight Paul once and for all in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe before leaving. Goodbye for now.